Imagine being caught in a web of violence, betrayal, and a desperate fight for survival. This is the story of Fred Carrasco, a man whose life was a whirlwind of crime and chaos. It all began with a young girl luring a man out of a San Antonio dance hall in 1958. Fred, just 18, shot him dead, marking the start of his bloody trail. Fred's life was a series of violent events, from San Antonio to Nuevo Laredo to Guadalajara, leaving a trail of bodies in his wake. Estimates of Fred's killings ranged from 40 to 57, with his first lieutenant, Antonio de la Garza, witnessing the initial murder. In 1971, Fred ordered the killing of de la Garza, who had been his ally for 15 years. No one was safe from Fred's wrath. Fred's gang, the Dons, dealt in large amounts of heroin, causing open warfare on the border, leading to federal troops being sent to Nuevo Laredo. Caught between rival gangs and federales, Fred's troubles deepened when a gang member spilled secrets to the authorities. In Guadalajara, Fred and his gang were arrested with 213 pounds of heroin and enough guns for an army. His wife Rosa was also captured. Fred's devotion to Rosa was his only redeeming quality. He held a shard of glass to his throat for 5 hours until lawyers negotiated her release. Fred escaped from prison in December, hidden in a laundry truck, and headed straight to San Antonio, convinced his gang had betrayed him. Fred resumed his killing spree, starting with Gilbert Escobedo, who had withheld $80,000 from a heroin deal. Fred's paranoia led him to kill Agapito Ruiz and Roy Costano, believing they had turned informant. Joe Richard Garchez, a Vietnam veteran, was horrified by the killings and mentioned them to friends, sealing his fate. Fred killed Joe Richard and his friend David Garcia, who had been talking about leaving the gang. Rumors spread that Fred had a death list of 12 names, and his capture became a priority for the San Antonio police. After 12,000 man-hours, Fred was finally captured at the El Tejas Motel, wounded but alive. Fred's capture led to a labyrinth of plots and counterplots, splitting the San Antonio Police Department and casting suspicion on the mayor's office. Fred claimed that cops had committed the Ruiz-Costano murders, causing further turmoil. The Citizen, who had spent months piecing together Fred's story, felt a sense of obligation to continue his work. James Gillespie, Fred's lawyer, was a man under immense pressure, his office a chaotic mess of files and papers. Gillespie's reputation as a criminal defense attorney was well known, but he seemed overwhelmed by the events. Gillespie recounted Fred's passion for his wife Rosa, a story that brought tears to his eyes. The Citizen found Gillespie's office more orderly this time, but the tension was palpable as they awaited a call from the governor. Two other lawyers, Alfonso Alonso and Steve Tacas, were also present, adding to the sense of anticipation. A desultory conversation ensued, with the lawyers making light of the situation to ease the tension. Joe Conant, a federal prosecutor, and Manuel Ortiz, a local police narcotics agent, entered the office, setting the stage for the governor's call. Conant, visibly distressed, revealed that his sister-in-law worked in the Huntsville prison library, narrowly missing being taken hostage. Conant considered confronting Fred himself, a dangerous and desperate idea. The conversation shifted to the whereabouts of Rosa, who was thought to be driving a car registered to Gillespie's office. As the clock ticked past 3, the tension in the room grew, with no news from the prison. Conant, Ortiz, and the other lawyers began showing off their guns, a surreal and unsettling display. Finally, the phone rang. Gillespie answered, only to find it was a prank call from Alonso. The tension broke, but the sense of being hostages to the situation remained. Stay tuned for more gripping stories from the archives of Texas Monthly.